Chip Ganassi Racing's Alex Palou led the field to green for the 107th running of the Indianapolis 500. 32 out of the 33 cars made the start on the track as Graham Rahal's number 24 Carekeepers United Rentals Chevy broke its battery on the grid and had to be dragged back to the pit lane to change the battery. RLL's Catherine Legg was the first driver to hit trouble. As she came out of her pit stall, she lost control of her car, spun, and made contact with the inside pit wall. Four-time winner Helio Castroneves gave the crowd a show with this incredible save going into turn 1. The first caution came on lap 92 when Rick Ware Racing's Stingray Rob smacked the wall in turn 1. Rob would be classified 31st as R.C. Enerson retired from the race with a mechanical failure a few laps before Rob's crash. The next incident happened in pit lane under caution as Rinus VeeKay spun coming out of his pit stall and slammed into the pole sitter Alex Palou. Both were sent to the back of the field after VeeKay was slapped with a pit road contact penalty and Palou had to change his front wing. Callum Ilott in the number 77 for Juncos Hollander Racing stayed out in that pit cycle and led the field to the restart at the halfway point, as Felix Rosenqvist, Pato O'Ward, Josef Newgarden, and defending winner Marcus Ericsson all became contenders for the win. During the next pit cycle, Colton Herta was released from his pit box in the path of his teammate Romain Grosjean. Herta's pit crew had to pull the number 26 Gainbridge Andretti Honda back into his pit box and restart the engine, losing about a lap. On lap number 150, things went from bad to worse for Romain Grosjean as the number 28 DHL Honda smacked the wall leaving turn 2. The crash was incredibly similar to the accident that put Grosjean out of the race last year. The race got restarted with Josef Newgarden going around the outside of Marcus Ericsson going into turn 1 on lap 156. There was a roar from the crowd on lap 159 as Santino Ferrucci's Stars and Stripes number 14 took the lead away from Ericsson. With 31 laps to go, cars started making their final pit stops of the day, with Santino Ferrucci's crew just barely catching an uncontrolled tire and getting Ferrucci back out without any issues. With 17 laps to go, Josef Newgarden went around the outside of Felix Rosenqvist going into turn 1. Rosenqvist got into the dirty air behind Newgarden's car, washed up the track, and hit the wall. His McLaren then spun off the wall into the path of Kyle Kirkwood, whose left rear tire flew over the catch fence and landed in the parking lot outside of the speedway. Kirkwood slapped the wall so hard in turn 2 that his car flipped over and skidded a couple hundred more feet down the backstretch. Both drivers climbed from their cars, and all the spectators in the grandstands in turn 2 were uninjured by the tire. IndyCar and IMS threw the red flag in order to manufacture a green flag finish. As they restarted, Pato O'Ward was jumped on the restart by Marcus Ericsson and Josef Newgarden. O'Ward made a daring move to the inside of Ericsson going into turn 3. Ericsson squeezed him down to the concrete curb. O'Ward spun and hit the wall on the outside of the corner. Simon Pagenaud and Augustine Canapino were also caught up in the accident. Canapino had no steering and went over the back of O'Ward's totaled car. IndyCar threw a second red flag in order to keep the finish under green. 5 laps to go, another restart, another accident. As Graham Rahal, Ed Carpenter, Benjamin Peterson, and Christian Lundgaard were all involved in a crash on the front stretch near the back of the pack. The fans watched in disbelief as IndyCar threw an unprecedented third red flag to keep the finish green. This would allow for a one-lap shootout to decide the winner. The decision proved wise as Marcus Ericsson led the field to a restart for the one-lap shootout. Josef Newgarden, Santino Ferrucci, and Alexander Rossi were following close behind. Ericsson was looking to become the first back-to-back Indy winner since Helio Castroneves. Newgarden was looking for his first Borg-Warner in his 11th try. Santino Ferrucci was looking to get AJ Foyt's first Indy 500 win as a car owner since 1999 and the team's first IndyCar Series win since 2013. As the 19 remaining cars snaked down the backstretch, Newgarden made a move on Ericsson to the outside into turn 3. Palou and Ferrucci were clearly fighting for third. Was this the moment where the pain would end for Josef Newgarden? Ericsson had one final run going through the short chute between 3 and 4. Newgarden comes off of turn 4 and pulls off the gutsiest block known to man to bring home Roger Penske's 19th Borg-Warner Trophy, in what is unofficially the 4th closest finish in Indy 500 history. In his 11th try at the greatest spectacle in racing, Josef Newgarden would finally drink the milk. Josef Newgarden took home the Borg-Warner Trophy over Marcus Ericsson by just 0.0974 seconds in the 4th closest finish in Indy 500 history. Santino Ferrucci brought the number 14 AJ Foyt car home third, its best finish in the 500 since the early 2000s. Pole sitter Alex Palou recovered from an incident on pit road in the earlier part of the race to finish fourth. Alexander Rossi, Scott Dixon, and Takuma Sato followed behind. Connor Daly, Colton Herta, and Rinus VK rounded out the top 10, while Ryan Hunter-Reay had an impressive showing in his first race with Dreyer and Reinbold Racing, finishing 11th, 3.4 seconds behind Newgarden. Callum Ilott, Devlin DeFrancesco, and Scott McLaughlin kept their noses clean most of the time, McLaughlin only being involved in the crash that sent Simon Pagenaud spinning. Fan favorites Elio Castroneves and Tony Kanaan brought it home 15th and 16th, with Marco Andretti finishing 8.9 seconds behind the leaders, the last car on the lead lap. Ed Carpenter, Benjamin Peterson, and Graham Rahal were caught up in the crash that caused the third red flag. They finished 20th, 21st, and 22nd. Will Power still finishes behind those three that didn't even finish. He was 5 laps down after brushing the wall in the closing stage of the race. Paddle Awards, Simon Pagenaud and Augustine Canapino were classified 24th, 25th, and 26th after the crash that caused the second red flag. Felix Rosenquist is classified 27th after hitting the wall, and Kyle Kirkwood is classified 28th after flipping after making contact with Rosenquist's car in turn number 2. And now the last 5 finishers. David Malukas retired after making contact with Augustine Canapino between turns 1 and 2. Romain Grosjean crashed in turn 2 on lap 150. Stingray Robb slammed the wall, leaving turn 1 on lap 92. R.C. Enerson was the only retirement from a mechanical failure, and Catherine Legg is credited with 33rd place after her spin and contact with the wall on pit road. So, there are your highlights for this year's running of the Indianapolis 500. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss any new content from this channel. We are super close to 100 subscribers. Who will be our 100th subscriber? Maybe it'll be you, so make sure you click that button. Make sure to follow me on all these other platforms that just appeared on the left side of your screen, and have an incredible rest of your day. Bye.